Hey guys, tonight we find ourselves journeying across the vast expanses of the Sahara Desert, where time slows under the sun's watchful eye and secrets whisper through the dunes. You feel the crisp night air embrace you as the stars glimmering above like scattered jewels act as your compass. Imagine a gathering of traders, each representing realms you can only dream of. They do not speak. Instead, they exchange precious gold and salt with little more than a knowing nod. This gathering, serene yet mysterious, might be the closest you'll ever come to a silent auction in the wilds, but with commodities far richer than any you've seen. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. This is where I invite you to let your voice be heard by sharing where you're listening from and what time it is there for you. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Your journey begins with the ripple of simmering desert heat, yawning over golden sands. Each grain gleams under the sun, arranging itself like a canvas of endless possibility. Your feet sink slightly as you walk, feeling the warmth of the earth hug each step. You pause, gazing ahead, as small dark figures materialize on the horizon, their shapes wavering through the heat haze. These figures are not specters of your imagination. They are traders drawn here as if by an unspoken promise. Though no words will be exchanged, you sense the gravity of this meeting, one thousands of such travelers have made before you. You marvel at the thought of how such an exchange has endured as timeless as the shifting sands themselves. Historians tell tales of how these desert traders communicated through actions rather than language, leaving scholars to ponder whether this antique practice relentlessly defied civilization's advancement. With gold and salt on the line, currencies as weighty as the desert heat, there's plenty at stake. Gold, so often sought after for its glittering allure, seems to whisper promises of opulence. Yet here in this barren landscape, it is the humble salt that commands equal respect, if not more. Known as white gold, due to its pivotal role in preserving food and enhancing flavor, salt has the power to sustain life or elevate a simple meal into a feast, capable of livening the dreariest of days. As the traders draw near you, feel the quiver of anticipation ripple through the air, a feeling echoed in the gentle shifting of camels stirring at their shadows. One trader, cloaked in deep indigo fabric, gestures expansively, an artist preparing his canvas. He lays down bars of gold, each one catching the light in a spectacle of silent grandeur. Across from him, his counterpart, clad in pale luminous robes, mirrors the action by presenting blocks of salt, crystalline structures, capturing the desert's harsh beauty. In this surreal transaction, you sense the delicate balance where the value of commodities hinges not on their numerical worth, but on their necessity. Your mind puzzles over the simplicity and profundity of it all. After all, sand might be in every corner of your existence, but salt, now that's a commodity rebels against nature's indifference. The trades complete with a nod, the subtlest of gestures weighted with respect and trust. No words necessary. As silent witnesses, you see that these seasoned traders possess an understanding that transcends any spoken language, a sort of cosmic wink to eons of tradition that insists on persisting. And if one of nature's divine offers, a sandstorm, should swoop in and dismantle your serene contemplation, it would be akin to Mother Nature's reminder, you probably won't survive this if you don't humble yourself in her majestic presence. You feel a breeze pick up, a soft whisper of wind, tousling the deep silence, urging you forward with promise and intrigue. As the traders part ways, you remain grounded among the whispers of the desert, letting your imagination fill the space words did not. You can almost hear the echoes of past exchanges, feel the heat of the sun bedded in stone carvings, marking this place made for trading far richer than coin, a weave of culture, necessity, and trust. As your eyes linger on the ebbing shapes of caravans, you wonder if one day people will trade stories as they do today with currency. You sense the desert watching over its own secrets, a silent guardian of commerce and tradition. You exhale deeply, relishing the thought that you've become part of this tale, a keeper of silence in a world loud with history. Continuing across the shifting sands, you embrace the stillness, taking from it newfound understanding. An understanding that some of the greatest conversations need not words, but simple, deliberate actions set against the grandeur of nature itself as time bows out respectfully. The cool evening breeze brushes against your skin as you find yourself standing at the edge of a bustling ancient city. The air is thick with the scent of spices, and the low hum of conversation fills the space around you. Imagine yourself in the heart of the Kingdom of Ghana, a sprawling empire that rests not within the borders of today's Ghana, but far to the northwest, where the sun casts long golden rays over the Sahara desert. As you wander through the busy marketplace, your feet touch coarse, sandy soil, which crunches softly with each step. Stalls burst with vibrant textiles, and traders tout their wares with lively enthusiasm. You see merchants both local and from distant lands exchanging not only goods, but stories from their travels. You overhear a man boast that his salt came from the depths of the earth, a commodity as valuable as gold in these lands. You pause, knowing that salt was worth more than just seasoning back then. The world around you feels alive, yet there's an overwhelming sense that this place, in all its golden glory, is shrouded in mystery. Historians still debate whether this was truly the first great kingdom of West Africa, or if it had roots buried even deeper in time's sands. You can't help but wonder if this place truly earned its moniker, the land of gold, or if perhaps its riches lie in something less tangible, like knowledge or culture. Under the midday sun, which bathes everything in a warm glow, you follow your instincts through the crowded streets, your senses guided by the rhythmic clang of blacksmiths' hammers, shaping copper and iron. The sound is comforting in a way, like the soft ticking of a clock, lulling you into the evening. A cheeky thought crosses your mind. If you had a tool forged by such skillful hands, perhaps you'd be a bit more enthusiastic about fixing things back home. Passing an open courtyard, you glance up at imposing structures with thick slanted walls, a testament to the ingenuity of Sahelian architecture. These buildings, adorned with intricate carvings and designs, tell stories of their own, etched over centuries by craftsmen whose names are long forgotten, but whose legacy endures. You trail your fingers along the rough, sun-warmed surface, feeling a connection to those ancient artists. You wonder if they could have imagined someone like you from a time and place beyond their wildest dreams admiring their work. In the shade of a large acacia tree, you catch sight of a circle of elders sharing tales. Their voices smooth as the silk traders weave a tapestry of myth and memory. You pause and listen. In one story captivates you. It's about an ancestor who legend says turned into a crocodile to fend off invaders. With a sly smile, you think to yourself that even the best bedtime stories could use a twist or two like that. The elders' discussion turns to the land's wealth under various rulers. They speak of a king renowned for his decision to tax the gold trade instead of personally hoarding its treasures. You can't help but admire such foresight, imagining a wise ruler standing at the helm of an economic powerhouse, unfettered by personal greed. Someone who knew the true strength of his kingdom lay in shared prosperity. You continue on your journey, feeling the soft folds of the robe you wear brush against your feet, a garment both foreign and familiar as you step into the past. As the sky shifts from gold to deep indigo, the warmth of the day lingers like the afterglow of a distant fire. You breathe deeply, exhaling slowly, as if performing a ritual to connect more closely with this forgotten world. A family nearby tends to their small herd of cattle. You watch as they skillfully maneuver the animals, a dance between human and beast that speaks of mutual reliance. You see a child tear off a piece of bread and feed it to a goat, an act so simple and pure, you can't help but smile. It reminds you of the simple pleasures ones that remain unchanged by time. The roads now lit by the faint glow of oil lamps extend like arteries through this expansive land. It seems ironic that in this empire of gold, it is the simple flicker of a humble lamp that guides travelers home. You look up at the night sky, constellations strange yet serene, an ancient map of the cosmos. You consider the countless eyes that have looked up at these very stars, maybe pondering the same questions you are now. Finally, the day's journey draws you towards a resting place. As you settle down upon a woven mat, its texture pressing gently against your skin, you feel the soothing lull of history's embrace. The stories, the people, the place, they all blend into a gentle melody, one that has been playing long before you arrived and will continue long after you've left. Eyes fluttering closed, you allow the whispers of the past to fade softly into dreams, promising more adventures to come when dawn breaks and opens chapters anew. As you rest under the vast expanse of the starry West African sky, a soft breeze carries the stories of ancient lands. In the cool night air, you stand on the sands of the Sahara, grains slipping through your fingers like forgotten whispers. Cutting through the starkness of the desert lies a path trod by countless travelers. Today, you're part of a caravan, a long line of camels, loaded with precious salt, gleaming white in the moonlight. These hardy animals sway rhythmically, moving with the same determination that drives you step by step across the endless sea of sand. In this moment, you feel the pulse of history. The salt is more than just a need. its power, its trade, its life. This mineral so crucial draws men across scorching sands from the northern reaches to the rich empire of Ghana. You imagine the weight of the salt on your back as a reminder that without it civilization could crumble. And yet, there's a gentle humor in knowing such a simple thing holds kingdoms in balance. You chuckle softly to yourself, almost not believing that mere salt could mean so much. The soft padding of feet echoes around you. Traders exchange quiet words, laughter punctuating the night air jokes about spirits of the desert who might trade you a mirage for your salt if you're not careful. Their companionable banter invites you to imagine your own place in this long line of history. As the sun rises, painting the sand in hues of gold and rose, you finally glimpse the lush land south of the Sahara. You enter a world transformed. Trees stretch their limbs skyward. Grasses sway to an unseen rhythm. Rivers carve hearty paths across the land, carrying along secrets of past rains. Here lies the famed gold of Ghana, washing down from far beyond, sparkling beneath crystal clear waters. A sense of awe fills you as you behold such beauty. Here the landscape is dotted with bustling marketplaces. You step among the merchants' voices, mingling with the intoxicating scents of spices and perfumes. There's a vibrant energy, a tapestry of lives, interwoven with goods traded and stories shared. You feel the sway of your own heartbeat, keeping time with the drum beats, echoing in the distance. Each stand you pass is an invitation to witness the wealth of this land. You participate in a trade, feeling the cool weight of a gold nugget in your palm, a small sun cradled within your grasp. You marvel at its weight and worth, this stuff of legends and prosperity. Historians still debate whether these fair transactions or the fierce reputation of Ghana's rulers ensured the steady flow of such riches. But here and now it doesn't matter. You're simply a guest entrusted with a glimpse into this thriving heart of West Africa. As you wander further, a local elder approaches, offering you a sweet date, plucked fresh from her basket. Her eyes twinkle with the humor of ages, and in her smile, you find hospitality that seems as endless as the Sahara itself. From the desert's white treasure to our river's golden gift, it is all the same. She muses, her voice soft yet strong. What matters is how we share it. With a nod, you bite into the date, its sugary richness melting on your tongue. In this moment, you appreciate the humorous twist of fate that has you savoring life's sweetness amid tales of salt and gold. You're struck by the symbiotic dance of needs and excesses that shapes human destiny. Continuing through the market, you hear snippets of conversation, a merchant bragging about the latest lion skin rug he's imported, another gossiping about a trader who tried to sell pebbles as gemstones. The whimsical asides add color to your understanding of this vibrant world where cultures meet and dreams are bartered alongside goods. You feel the sun's warmth on your face, not harsh like it was in the desert, but gentle, nurturing. Here in the land between the desert's salt and the river's gold, you're enfolded in Ghana's prosperity, a kingdom that thrives because it is both passage and destination. As evening falls, The market quiets only to give rise to the symphony of night frogs. Croak crickets sing, and somewhere a distant drumbeat calls you back to your resting place beneath the stars. You lie down, feeling the cooling earth beneath you cradle your form. The potential of dreams is woven through the night, just as is the harmony of trade, woven through life in Ghana. You close your eyes and breathe in the age-old sense of dust, salt, and gold, tasting a heritage as rich as any dream, knowing the journey continues a river, flowing onward, carrying you gently into a world where the past waits to share its secrets. And with that, you drift softly into sleep, wrapped in the tranquility of history's narrative, knowing that this tale is one thread in the endless tapestry of time, suspended between what we hold and what we seek. As you find yourself nestled against a carpet of soft, warm sand, you feel the gentle rise and fall of your makeshift pillow, a camel. The stars above glisten like 1,000 eyes, peering down from the canopy of the universe, steadfast over the vast Sahara desert. Tonight you are one with the caravan that snakes its way across an undulating sea of sand waves. The cool night air is a welcome relief after the day's burning sun, and you can almost feel the stories carried by the light breeze. You wonder about these camels known as the ships of the desert. Their padded feet move silently, almost reverently across the shifting dunes, unlocking paths walked by countless others before you. You chuckle at the thought that despite their seemingly lazy demeanor, these creatures are the backbone of a bustling trade network that stretches farther than the eye can see. If only they could talk, they'd have tales to rival any old merchant. Your companion, a seasoned trader, smiles knowingly as you contemplate the ancient trail beneath your feet. This route, he says, his voice low and almost absorbed by the desert's vastness, carries more than just silk and salt. It carries the lifeblood of empires. As you ride, you imagine the bars of gold and the intricate textiles hidden away in the caravan's many panniers, secure amidst a valuable cargo. It's an awe-inspiring thought that the trans-Saharan trade didn't just move tangible items, but also traded in ideas and customs, sweeping across cultures like a rolling wave. While historians continue to debate the precise impact of these exchanges, you can almost sense the whispers of knowledge and innovation that traveled with each merchant. You glance at the horizon, a meeting place of heavens and earth, much like the market where these cultures met and mingled. As the caravan stops to camp beneath the open sky, you can't help but feel the air thicken with the sweet scent of spices, flavors of lands far, and mysterious tingling in your nostrils. You recall the amusing story of a trader who offered not gold or silver but a monkey, trained to play a tambourine, a delightfully unexpected commodity that certainly must have spiced up the local market more than the spices themselves. The fire crackles, casting a warm glow on your faces as you sit with the traders. You listen as they share their experiences, each tale a candle, flickering in the vast darkness, adding color and depth to the shadows. You wrap yourself tightly in your garments, the desert night growing cooler, and you appreciate the small respite. The rhythm of easy laughter and gentle conversation lulls you into a near dream state. You sigh contentedly, allowing yourself to sink further into the coziness of the moment. Just as you begin to lose the battle with sleep, you overhear one trader mention the ancient book of secrets he once glimpsed in Timbuktu, a whisper of mythical cities and hidden libraries. Your curiosity piqued, you almost ask to hear more, but decide against breaching the tranquil spell of the night. Perhaps another time, when the tales of forgotten knowledge are ready to unfurl. With a stretch and a yawn, you lie back the sand almost instinctively molding to your shape, and you glance up once more at the stars. Each night over this silent expanse, the sky changes, dancing with the passage of time itself. You wonder if the stars have noticed how much people like those traders around you have changed over centuries, and yet in many ways remain the same, eternally searching, eternally wandering. Often it is said that real wisdom isn't found in staying motionless or isolated, but in the spaces between where worlds collide, just as here, amidst the brilliance of starlight, within the whispers of sand. It echoes the endless possibilities that have always been carried by this sea of sand and stars, long before you set foot upon it. Tonight, as your eyes gently drift closed, you make a mental note: trade may move on the backs of camels, yes, but the true journey, one of ideas and dreams, persists long after the last grains of sand have slipped between your fingers. Your last conscious thought as sleep finally overtakes you is a silent pact with the nighttime desert to continue this dream, riding with the caravan beyond the veil of reality into the realm of endless stories and untold mysteries. You walk along a bustling, sun-drenched market square where vendors with colorful tents are calling out in warm, melodic voices, trying to draw the attention of passing potential buyers. Your feet feel the vibrant energy of the place through the soft dust that forms the ground beneath the lively crowd, and you think, the Middle Ages, a time when soap was optional and digital scales were just not a thing. You approach a stall selling grains and spices, smelling the earthly scent of cumin mixed with the sweetness of cinnamon. The vendor, a wise woman with gentle eyes, offers you a trade of rice. But there are no sleek metal weights, only a handful of beans she uses for measuring, deftly tossing them into a balance. It's a practice you find more endearing than precise, really, like trying to bake a cake by guessing instead of measuring. She smiles and remarks, "Good balance is key to a fair trade." You chuckle to yourself and think, yeah, in every sense of the word. You pick up one of the beans, inspecting its texture, and wonder if she ever gets those beans confused with her soup ingredients. A voice interrupts your thoughts. A fellow trader perhaps suggesting, try feeling the weight of seeds instead of dust. They're less likely to blow away. You nod in appreciation of this advice, imagining how chaotic it must have been when the breeze decided to shuffle everyone's careful measurements. There were no standard units back then, just the quiet trust shared between human judgment and Mother Earth's offerings. As you watch the transactions unfold with a silent smile, it's clear in this era the weight of someone's word is as tangible as the balance scale itself. It's an understanding exchanged through moist eyes and dusty hands, where the balance tilts not just on the weight, but on the willing minds and steady hearts involved. Historians still debate whether such organic systems truly leveled the playing field or were tilted by the more practiced traders who knew how to feel their way through a little bit of artistic miscalculation. As you breathe deeply, absorbing the fragrant air, filled with a medley of spices and voices you can't help but admire the subtle elegance of it all. It's a world where the unseen, unwritten agreements feel more binding than the iron chains that could only weigh down what was never meant to fly. In the rustling breaths of the night where counting stars might be more reliable than counting beans in daylight, you settle into the comfort of the world around you, eager to see what tomorrow's bartering might bring when the glow of dawn breaks and the shadows stretch across the marketplace once again. In the dim glow of early morning light, you find yourself at the edge of a bustling marketplace. It's still and serene, yet there's a crackling energy as traders slowly converge upon the meeting grounds. They unroll their blankets, revealing the day's goods, and you feel a curious tingle of anticipation. Rows of wooden stalls are draped with colorful fabrics, fluttering in a gentle breeze. The air carries a mix of rich, earthy scents, spices, cooking fires, the subtler hint of stone and wood worn smooth by countless feet and hands. Today, you are a trader too, at least in your imagination, a bright-eyed wanderer in this ancient world. Nearby, experienced traders huddle around carved wooden scales, painstakingly handing precise measures of gold dust back and forth. Their fingers move with practiced grace, making you wonder if they'd still be this dexterous on a tightrope, or perhaps you wouldn't bet your new pair of sandals on that. Gold dust sits in neat glinting piles, counterbalanced by an unexpected variety of seeds. One pile of seeds is your standard, another is theirs. And through this delicate dance, value is determined, remembered, and recorded. Small gold scales rest on wooden tables, light streaming through stretched canvas. Overhead flickers gently on their polished surfaces. You wouldn't want to inhale too deeply here. After all, you might end up swallowing a fortune. You let out an amused breath at that thought, watching the scales and seeds tip delicately, as though overseeing a tiny gleaming seesaw. Historians still debate whether every culture had its own set standard of seeds for weighing gold, or if trade agreements allowed some universal measure. But there's nothing quite like the delightful variety of watching these piles grow and shrink as laughter and serious discussion intermingle. The patterns worn into the wooden stalls tell a tale of countless exchanges. Deep grooves mark years of hands placing, taking, counting. Sometimes you wonder if those who've learned here somehow know more whispering secrets of trade and travel that can only be understood beneath the shade of these awnings. Each culture brings its unique touch to the artistry of trade, the careful balancing of hope, gold, and faith in novel shapes of wood and stone, each unique like a thumbprint. You admire the variety, idly sketching dreams of commerce in your thoughts as your senses absorb every detail. Beyond you, voices drift like music, a symphony of greetings and good-natured haggling. A nearby trio debates in a language you don't quite understand, though the currency of bargaining is universal. It strikes you that even in the serious business of trade, humor finds its home, whether in playful teasing during negotiations or the wry mocking of a good deal snagged. As a long wooden beam creaks under a trader's weight, he hops off quickly, giving an apologetic shrug. You ponder the stability and the balance these weights provide, both literally and figuratively. Traders' eyes dart from dust to seeds, checking values, turning empty hands into profitable endeavors. The meticulous nature of their trade craft seems very nearly like an alchemist's spell. The sun warms your back, comforted by the rhythm of the exchange, the laughter, the occasional clinks of scales adjusting. You know these moments will soon belong to the past seeds, once traded, perhaps sprouting into tales of folklore and myth. A soft, playful breeze stirs the gold dust ever so slightly, heart quickening briefly, as a few grains escape only to be caught carefully by an expert hand. Remarkably, amid the apparent chaos of this marketplace, there is an undeniable order that guides each interaction, ensuring fairness and respect are etched into every exchange. Somewhere a child marvels at the sight, perhaps dreaming of becoming a great trader one day, turning imagination into reality. For now, folding your imaginary stall and tucking away insights like precious jewels, you stroll contentedly through the marketplace, fully aware of its pulse, its enduring heartbeat hammered into each deal, struck across these well-worn scales. The sun continues its steady climb, watching over this grand bazaar as it has for millennia. Here, with laughter still floating through the air, a part of you suspects that these traders, carrying tiny mountains of gold on carved scales, might somehow hold the entire world in balance. The marketplace buzzes gently around you as it does every day in this ancient city where commerce is the lifeblood. You thread your way through the colorful stalls, the scent of spices mingling with the early morning air, a reminder of how life here is a sensory feast. Vendors call out, extolling the virtues of their goods, each voice a small melody in the larger harmony of the market. At the heart of this bustling scene is a wooden table, worn smooth by countless transactions, where the designated officials stand. Their presence is like a cool breeze on a sweltering day, welcome and reassuring. These officials, trained in the art of fairness, are the quiet custodians of honesty in an often tumultuous world. It's not just their skills that maintain peace, but also the respect they command, like the unseen anchor of a great ship, keeping everything steady. You watch the officials overseeing the weighing process, noting their solemn faces as they measure with precision and grace. It's fascinating how a small stone on a balance can tip the scales, both literally and metaphorically, and how these men, these balancing acts of integrity, know just where to place their fingers to ensure fairness. Their honesty is paramount, a duty carried out with the same care as tending a sacred flame. They are trusted not because they are infallible, but because their commitment to fairness is unwavering. In this job, reputation is everything, a truth older than the stones you feel beneath your sandals. The transactions unfold steadily like a well-practiced dance. Merchants and customers alike exchange nods and small smiles, gestures of gratitude for the justice administered by these human balances. It reminds you that while serene order is often an illusion, this is one place where it feels almost tangible. You overhear a snippet of history from a passing trader who gestures expansively with a cloth bundle over one shoulder. Did you know, he says, his eyes twinkling with the relish of a storyteller, the ancient scales were sometimes rigged with hidden weights? You chuckle inwardly at this shared piece of trivia, only partially surprising, given the lengths humans will go to tip a deal in their favor. It makes you appreciate the officials that much more like finding a trustworthy friend in a world where trust can sometimes flit away, like a sparrow on the wind. The morning sun climbs higher, warming your skin as you continue past the stalls. You pause to admire an intricate tapestry hanging lazily in the breeze, its vibrant colors holding stories from lands beyond the horizon. You think about how remarkable it is to be part of a world where every moment in this market is a microcosm of larger human dynamics, trust exchange, and the invisible transactions that weave our lives together. For a fleeting second, you wonder whether anyone has ever truly captured the essence of such a place in words, or if it's a beauty meant for the senses alone. A gentle voice disrupts your thoughts, and you turn to see one of the officials standing beside you, having finished his duties for the morning. A rare day with no disputes, he says, smoothing the folds of his tunic with a satisfied air. You nod, noting how even his quiet pride in this small accomplishment feels heroic in its simplicity. It's a lighter reality check than your usual existential musings, but it does the trick. Historians still debate whether the scales in ancient times were the origins of our modern standards of weights and measures. But as you stand here, it feels like a reasonable leap. After all, human ingenuity is nothing if not persistently practical. You reflect on how these instruments of fairness have evolved over time, but the principle remains unchanged. Fair trade, honest transactions, ancient concepts cradle our current world, reminding you of the durability of wisdom over the ages. As the sun's rays stretch further over the market, shadows dance lightly at your feet like children at play, carefree and uninhibited. The cool morning breeze has faded, leaving warmth to hug you like an old friend. You exhale slowly, your shoulders relaxing against the imagined weight of 1,000 unspoiled scales. As you take one last look at the officials now engaged in animated conversation before they disperse, you find yourself contemplating the balance of the world, a theme of scales, not just in trade, but in life. The tipping points, the equilibrium, the gentle sway of decisions in our journey. A soft whistle from a nearby flute cuts through the gentle market noise, serenading you as you walk away, the music weaving through the air like a tender lullaby. In the grand tapestry of life, perhaps honesty is the most vibrant thread of all, sometimes visible only in brief glimmers, yet essential grounding. In the gentle folds of this bustling market, you are reminded that honesty isn't just a policy, but a living, breathing essence delicately maintained by those who understand its worth. As you continue on your way home, the soft music lingering in the air, you carry a piece of this timeless trust in your heart, snug and warm, as comforting as a bedtime story, wrapped in the scented air of ancient wisdom and whispered promises. The air sits heavy with the scent of freshly turned earth, and as you look around, you see a small gathering under the sprawling branches of an ancient tree. You stand among the bustling market stalls where traders peddle their colorful wares, tapestries, rough spun cloth, and enormous heaps of fragrant spices. But one thing remains conspicuously absent from the merchant cart's raw gold nuggets. Now, this might not seem surprising at a passing glance until you remember the reason. In this land, no one could sell raw gold nuggets without royal approval. The king had his reasons, of course. He liked to stockpile them to ensure his wealth, and power stayed unmatched. As the cool breeze swirls around you, threading itself through your hair and tugging at your cloak, you begin to wonder if the king ever worried about getting overwhelmed with so much glimmering heavy metal. Or maybe he just wanted to build the world's largest golden sandcastle on an undisclosed island. You chuckle softly, imagining the king toiling away under the sun, only to realize later that this historical possibility is not exactly plausible. Your footsteps carry you on, passing beneath a gateway, adorned with faded carvings of wild animals leaping in perpetual motion. A nearby parrot, rather stunning in its vibrant plumage, gives you a sideways glance from its perch. It fluffs its feathers thoughtfully, seemingly judging the peculiar situation you found yourself pondering. This royal hoarding of gold is one of those quirks of history that might have made sense only in the context of medieval economics, driving demand and value through scarcity, or sheer whim. The king, in his desire to hoard, had created a curious paradox. People could mine the gold, yet they couldn't sell it. No wonder gold nuggets became whispers of a forbidden treasure, sulking in the shadows, perhaps occupying secret compartments in everyday objects. Historians still debate whether this was a genius move to strengthen the kingdom or just an eccentricity of a sovereign who woke up one day believing gold was his destined material muse. As you tread across the stone courtyard, you notice how the sun's dance creates pools of shade and light on the sandstone, making it almost seem as if the ground is rippling like water. You pause, feeling your thoughts lighten and settle just like the swirling dust motes as you imagine the scandal and thrill of an underground gold trade. A secret exchange whispered behind woven tapestries or in shadowy taverns. Surely the very air seems to buzz with the tales of audacious souls trying to outwit royal boundaries without getting their necks in a noose. The market scene remains etched with vivid details, from the worn stone pavements underfoot to the earthy aroma of spices and the distant sound of a lute's strings plunked inquisitively by a musician hoping to earn a few coins. You watch as a smith hammers rhythmically at an anvil under a thatched awning. Sparks fly like tiny rebellious fireworks, their fleeting existence mirrored in the eyes of a fascinated child nearby. A clever king, a voice from behind you murmurs, lilting with a hint of mischief, as though discussing a quaint custom of ringing holiday bells. You turn eyes, meeting the gaze of a bearded merchant who smiles, his eyes crinkling conspiratorially. Yes, very clever, you reply, the both of you sharing that unsaid understanding of the great game king's play. Perhaps this royal monopoly on gold, frustrating as it was for those beneath the crown, meant something more, a reflection of the ancient truth that power, much like gold, should not be left unattended. The king's storehouses held fortunes that could make an emperor swoon. Yet for the old cobbler or spice trader, a gold nugget could alter the course of their lives. Strange how wealth's potential can lie dormant in the world's secret pockets until uncovered by those daring enough to reach for it. The melody of life continues to weave through the market. Your steps carry you forward, nodding to familiar faces, witnessing the ebb and flow of the day, as if observing petals upon a pond rocked by a gentle breeze. Here gold is more than just currency. It is a mysterious force, a catalyst for stories yet untold, much like the ones you might dream about in this kingdom, wrapped in history and star-speckled legends. A slight shiver dances across your skin, cooled by the whispering winds that tug at your clothing and thoughts. Stretching out your journey through this storied landscape, you find yourself drawn into the vivid tapestry of medieval life, where kings guard their gold as jealously as dragons, and daring souls dream of jewels they might hold in secret, even if just for a fleeting moment. And as you lose yourself in the gentle rhythm of a realm, where gold becomes the thread binding together the tapestries of stories, curiosity and wonder tap at the edges of your mind, ever eager to lead you to the next adventure, however it might unfold. Until now, you've been trying to fit in with the bustling market life, in the heart of an ancient city, your senses alive with the thick scent of spices, and the hum of countless voices mingling in the afternoon sun. Stalls pepper the dusty pathway awnings, shaded in vibrant colors that sway gently with the breeze as eager buyers shuffle past. You've been drawn to this vivid tapestry of trade to witness a currency exchange that might leave your modern sensibilities a bit perplexed. Instead of clinking coins or neatly folded bills, the merchants here exchange small pouches filled with fine gold dust, a mode of trade that feels timeless and mysteriously elegant. As you watch, a well-dressed trader dips a thumb and forefinger into one of these pouches, neatly pinching a measure equal to one bean's worth of gold dust, before handing it over with a satisfied nod. You think back to all the times you've scrounged for pennies in your couch cushions and wonder if this could be the ancient version of looking for spare change. Perhaps this was just their way of keeping it classy. Eavesdropping on a nearby conversation, you overhear a playful squabble about whether a thumb's tip or a fingernail's edge is the fairer measure. Historians still debate whether these charming quirks of measurement were developed out of necessity or sheer imprecision. Maybe it was just what felt right in the moment, akin to eyeballing the perfect amount of sugar for your secret cookie recipe. One can't be too exact when flavor is at stake, right? You stroll past a stall where a stout vendor is selling bolts of dreamy fabric. The cloth catches in the breeze and dances like water under sunlight. A woman cloaked in rich indigo examines a piece with admiration. She glances at you and gestures for you to join her inspection. The fabric feels impossibly soft between your fingers, and for a moment, the gritty realities of the world seem to dissolve into threads of silk. It's worth 2 beans of gold dust, she murmurs, smiling gently. You find yourself charmed by both the fabric and the indomitable spirit of negotiation. As the sun begins to dip, painting the sky in a palette of orange and pink, the air grows cooler, and the shadows of the day lengthen. You take a moment to rest on a wooden bench, its surface worn smooth by countless sitters. There are no coins or digital transactions that unknowingly add up. You muse, wondering if perhaps they too enjoyed these small exchanges as much as the goods themselves. You find it rather delightful to think about transactions, measured in forecasts of human anatomy. Whimsical, simple, yet brimful of human connection. Nearby, the low melodic murmur of conversation continues, voices soft and intimate as the day winds down. An old man working at a humble spice stand catches your eye, his smile a warm invitation. He beckons you over with a crooked finger, the lines on his face weaving a map of endless stories. He holds out a pinch of something earthy and fragrant. A taste, little traveler, he chuckles softly. The ground beneath your feet feels more like home than any modern floor, more accommodating without all those jangling keys and forgotten cards. As the market starts to quiet and the lanterns flicker to life, casting gentle shadows around you, it's easy to imagine a time when such exchanges were more than mere trade. They were stories spun, with the gold dust binding each person to the next. The warmth of the earth beneath your hands reminds you of a sweet summer evening spent exploring a world much like this, seeking tales hidden among grains of sand, or that single shimmering speck. With a slow exhale, your curiosity gently unwinds into satisfaction. Slowly, merchants begin to pack their wares, their laughter hanging in the air like the last glow of daylight. Your thoughts and senses start to settle as you gather memories instead of things, watching the shadows lengthen and wander into the night. Tomorrow, or perhaps only a dream away, awaits another chapter of ancient markets and gentle trades, nudging you softly back into the world that's always calling from the whispered bend of night to morning. And so, with the night beginning its soft embrace, your journey to worlds within gold dust ends for now, as the echo of old times fades gently into the restful realm of dreams. As you wander through the bustling open-air market, you feel the life and pulse of this vibrant scene envelop you like the warm embrace of a bygone era. The market hums with a symphony of sound, soft conversations layer over the rhythmic clinks of trade, the whisper of a breeze gently rustling through the fabrics fluttering on display. Your eyes can barely stay in one place, dazzled by the vivid array of colors, like a slow grounding kaleidoscope, where every turn reveals golden dust slipping beneath well-worn woven cloth. Stalls brim with fresh produce and exotic spices, whose aromas dance through the air, intoxicating and inviting. Here you're not just a visitor, but an explorer in a sea of humanity, each face telling 1,000 untold stories. You become curious about these tales, even if you're silently skeptical about the truth behind some merchant's grand fantasies. Clearly, this is a world where haggling is both an art form and a timeless tradition. Glints of sunlight bounce off gold-trimmed scales, weightily cutting deals balanced more in charm than in mass. The market itself seems to breathe a living organism of people goods and the passing of time. You overhear a vendor proudly boast about his fresh figs, a trace of nostalgia in his voice as he refers to them as fruits of paradise. You can't help but smile, momentarily swept up in the image of these figs gracing the tables of ancient banquets or fueling epic journeys, well aware historians still debate their exact historical roles. The aroma seduces you closer and lingers, sweetly tempting as a memory caught just out of reach. A woman on your left is quietly negotiating the price of a length of indigo-dyed cloth with a merchant. Her fingers lovingly touch the deep blue fabric, evoking images of royal courts where sapphire hues commanded attention and respect. However, your immediate thought mulls over how this vivid cloth will somehow end up as a shawl wrapped around someone sipping mint tea by a warm fireplace. Your gaze drifts to a young boy expertly weaving through the crowd with a clay jug balanced atop his head, a skill that almost defies the laws of physics. He pauses in front of you, grins cheekily, and inquires if you'd like a refreshing sip to cool the day. "It's the best water you'll find," he declares, winking, as if only you are privy to this well-kept secret. They say gold flows through the market veins, and easily you spot the treasures of this world, trinkets and coins that have traversed mysterious lands and sometimes dubious paths. A thrill of wonder tingles the back of your mind. How many hands and stories have each of these touched gold dust sprinkled across fabrics, glimmers in the sun, enriching the stories woven in each piece? Your imagination paints pictures of bustling Silk Road caravans, heavy with spices, silks, and treasures of old. The market brims with these narratives left unspoken but palpable in the air. Every laugh that rings out, every meticulous deal struck, crafts the tapestry of this vivid historical moment. Your fingers brush along smooth pottery as you make your way past a display of elegantly sculpted vases that recall the grandeur of ancients who presumably poured olive oil a little less clumsily than you did last night at dinner. Striking up a casual conversation with another visitor, you learn about a rather unusual local myth. Apparently, it's thought that if you hold a certain stone from the region just right under the moonlight, it reveals secret messages. How many truths lie masked within these tales? You wonder, deciding you'd probably need more than one trip to decipher all the mysteries here. The reality that even the most scholarly of historians are unlikely to snag one of these ethereal rocks on their bookshelf brings a soft chuckle to your lips. As you pause for a moment, you let your senses soak in the lively scene. You exhale slowly, feeling your shoulders relax as the energetic market envelops you like an old quilt, familiar, reassuring, always a little surprising with whatever remnants it may hold. Turning a corner, you find yourself in the midst of a particularly lively dispute between two merchants whose animated exchanges you would translate to something out of a comedic medieval sketch. An old woman sitting by a fountain chuckles at your observations. Her voice crackles like kindling catching flame, cutting through the ambient noise. She offers her insight peppered with the wisdom of many markets, braved and done. Stay long enough, she winks, and you might just walk away with a tale more precious than any gold. Her words hang in the air, settling warmly, like a blanket of acceptance over stories yet untold. And just as you move to thank her with the sunset beginning to cast languid shadows across the cobblestones, you feel a sense of belonging in this slice of living history, discovering that maybe, just maybe, it's a glimpse into lives lived long ago. Each footstep you take echoes softly through the past and into the present, a journey well worth embracing. As the market begins to wind down, you feel the powerful merge of daylight with the calming embrace of dusk, coaxing a slower pace from the rhythm of life. The sounds soften the vibrant market, thinning to clusters of evening wanderers who, like you, take in the final moments of its vibrant life. You meander through the fading scene eyes, catching the last flickers of gold that remain like promises of tales left to tell. The marketplace grows quieter, voices lulling to gentle murmurs, as stalls close their treasures packed away, until dawn breathes life anew into this historic ballet. A cool breeze accompanies your steps, wrapping around woven cloth and echoing whispers of stories gone by. Walking away, you cast one last glance at the market, now a tapestry of memories woven through the fabric of time. You can feel the history flow through you, a soothing stream joining the echoes of centuries past, with your present moment urging you to cherish this calm threading of eras before drifting into the night's embrace. Here in the whispers of the breeze and the gentle close of day, history softly guides you to rest. Beneath the endless sky, an expansive desert landscape stretches around you untouched by time. You feel the warm grains of sand shifting beneath your feet like a gentle whisper urging you to move forward. Somewhere in the distance, the rhythmic thump of drums reverberates through the air, a sound both foreign and familiar. The drums announce the approach of the salt caravans, huge processions of camels and traders trailing along ancient routes. The world is tinted in twilight hues, and as you continue, the colors change with every step. Silhouettes of camels sway against the horizon, their sturdy forms outlined by the last embers of sunlight. You're probably thinking I could get used to this view, but then again, spending days trudging through unending sands, you probably won't survive this. As the caravan draws nearer, the air buzzes with an electric sort of anticipation. You pause, taking in the scene traders in their robes, colored like the earth, but woven with edges of gold. You imagine the stories their eyes might tell of endless journeys and time spent beneath the sun. The grand procession finally reaches the market borders with a methodical grace. Well-practiced hands, ready to weigh the precious salt so vital for survival. Bells jingle softly, signals to commence. And you can almost feel the rhythm of trade, a dance centuries in the making. You wonder briefly with a wisp of curiosity, how did civilization hinge on something so ubiquitous as salt? In ancient times, cities rose and fell over this seemingly simple mineral. Historians still debate whether salt drove more expansion than gold or silk. How appetites changed the world. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You edge closer along the dusty path as the crowd begins to buzz. A trader slides the first block of salt onto a scale, its surface glistening under lantern light. The weight of the world captured in a single moment. Quiet laughter ripples through the group light and dispersed as bartered words fly back and forth, punctuated by the clang of weights hitting metal. Nearby, a young trader notices your rapt interest and chuckles gently. First time he says with an accent as rich as molasses. You nod as if entranced half by his words and half by the spectacle itself. Salt is life here, he adds, not like those grand stories you hear about jewels or spices. This is the real deal. Every breath you take tastes faintly of brine. Now a lucid reminder that salt cannot simply disappear like a forgotten relic. It is the keeper of flavors and preserver of history. You glance at the trader, 1,000 questions poised on the tip of your tongue. But his gaze is now fixed on the flickering market scene. As the business of trade unfolds, others join in hushed discussions, each bargaining with a voice soft from years of practice. It's almost like watching a skilled dance. Everyone knows their part under the starlit stage. The desert wind cooler now slides around your shoulders like an invisible shawl. Across the market space, a storyteller gathers a small audience, his voice lilting through the cool night air, weaving tales of far-off lands and daring adventures. They say, he coyly whispers, great empires fought not for power, but sheer flavor, a playful wink included. Perhaps it is just this magic that keeps the sands from consuming the past completely, each story, a grain added to the weight of memory. Feeling a little breeze kiss your cheeks, you let yourself be carried deeper into this world. You watch shadows elongate as lantern lights flicker, casting a gentle glow over packed dirt and time-worn faces. In this oasis of humanity, you feel the steady pulse of life, simple, enduring, rich. You wonder how many hands have passed these grains before yours, how many souls have tread these paths in search of something as vital as exchange itself. Trade, after all, is its own language, one that transcends simple human constructs. It ties together all in attendance, an unseen thread, connecting distant dots over a sprawled map of existence. Your footsteps slow, and as you watch more salt pass through more hands, a deeper understanding takes hold of you. Even amidst the vastness around, its connectivity, the intertwining of needs and exchanges, the lull of drums and laughter that keeps wandering hearts at home in foreign lands. You exhale slowly, shoulders relaxing against the earthy bench, and you feel anchored. Everywhere the air hums with the soft buzz of negotiations and the lullaby of a seemingly endless night sky. Underneath it all, the rhythm of the trade carries itself forward as constant as the sands that stretch in every direction. Whatever tomorrow holds, you decide will be flavored with today's worth of salt and story. No need for grand gestures or elaborate handshakes here. Goods were left in the soft sands, and only your honor guided the exchange. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know where you're tuning in from and what time it is. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You stand in a stretch of land where the earth seems to blend seamlessly into the sky. From this vantage point, a golden sea of sand stretches infinitely, painting a tranquil picture that makes you feel like you're walking through an ancient dreamscape. It is here that Soninka traders would lay out their woven fabrics, beads, and metals in neat rows, their colorful wares, forming a tapestry upon the sand. You can almost feel the anticipation in the air, as if the earth itself hums with the possibilities of trade. Nearby, a pile of salt sparkles under the sun left behind by Berber merchants who have temporarily stepped away, trusting entirely in the integrity of a silent agreement. You take a moment to wonder at this unusual trade practice. Imagine leaving your prized possessions exposed to the elements, and perhaps a wandering passerby without a second thought. Still, there's a strange charm and nobility to this silent trust. A gentle breeze sweeps across your face, cooling the heat of the sun. The echo of the caravan's distant bells drifts on the wind, punctuating the quiet with a rhythmic reminder of journeys taken and trades fulfilled. This was a landscape where commerce was conducted as much through gestures unseen as words unheard. Historians still debate whether this method of silent trade was due to language barriers or cultural mistrust, yet here you are witness to its calming dance of faith. Perhaps the most striking fact is that it worked. Over time, caravans doubled and even tripled in size, bringing wealth and prosperity to the regions. Before you, a Berber merchant appears dressed in flowing robes that ripple like waves as he approaches his pile of salt. You observe him from a distance, noting his attentive gaze as he inspects the offerings left beside his goods. There's a moment, one of silent meditation, where you can't help but wonder what goes through his mind. Does he ponder the value of the goods more than the honesty of the trader? Or like you does, he simply marvel at the trust that binds this unique exchange? With a nod and a shift in his stance, the decision is made. He moves quickly, gathering the traded goods with a measured efficiency, leaving as swiftly as he arrived. His figure soon fades into the horizon, swallowed by the golden sea, just another part of the endless cycle of give and take. You can't help but feel a bit whimsical at being part of this serene exchange. No haggling, no loud clamor of bargaining voices. Perhaps it's a system designed by introverts. You release a soft chuckle, your breath leaving a tiny trail of warmth in the cool desert air. Yet your attention is drawn again to the pile of goods before you. This time, it's the Soninka who appear, draped in bright colors, their garments shining like jewels against the sun-drenched earth. They approach with the graceful confidence of those who understand both the mysteries of the land and the secrets of the trade. Their footsteps leave gentle imprints in the sand as they survey what has been left for them. Their movements, deliberate and unhurried, suggest a deep-rooted wisdom, a connection to the cycle of give and take that transcends the goods themselves. You feel a growing appreciation for this seemingly simple exchange that holds beneath its surface a complexity of tradition and respect. One trader, a boy no older than perhaps 16, kneels to inspect a piece of metal, turning it slowly in his hands. The sunlight catches it, casting shadows upon his face. Does he see more than a piece of metal? Perhaps in its sheen he sees the prospect of future journeys or stories of far-off lands. You find yourself filled with a quiet sense of admiration for this young trader who shoulders the lineage of countless generations. Understanding begins to deepen within you, a gentle realization of the honor that breathes life into every silent transaction. It's as though you too are part of this ancient tapestry, woven into its fabric by the invisible threads of trust and promise. Goddess of trade fortune, or just plain luck, you wonder who guided these exchanges of yesteryear. While you stand guard in this land where silence speaks volumes, the wind brushes against you like a whisper, promising untold stories yet to unfold. It would seem that not so long ago a handshake wasn't needed, only the strength of one's honor. Resting beneath the open sky, your thoughts drift lazily upon the cooling evening breeze. You close your eyes for a moment, imagining the stories yet to come as the dawn of another day draws near. And so, you breathe deeply, letting the golden sands of time sweep you peacefully into the soft embrace of dreams. You find yourself in a bustling marketplace of the ancient world. The air is thick with the scent of spices, wafts of incense, and the hum of voices, bartering for silk spices, and most alluringly gold. Rich and glinting gold calls to the tradespeople like a siren of the seas. You reach out to touch it, feeling its heavy weight in your hand. It's rumored you hear that gold possesses its own spirit. It's not just metal, not just wealth, it's something larger, almost mystical. As you turn the piece of gold, watching it catch the light, you hear traders whisper tales of how an error in weighing it might invite fortune to take a hard left turn. But rest assured, no pressure at all on you, just your average high-stakes transaction. Nearby, a merchant solemnly adjusts his scales, offering a quiet prayer as he does so. The ritual is calming a contemplative pause in the chaos of the marketplace. You can't help but wonder if he truly believes those words, whispered under his breath, protect against some unseen calamity. Scholars are still uncertain whether these rituals were more than just tradition. However, in this world, where history and superstition entwine, it wouldn't hurt to be cautious, would it? The marketplace is alive with texture. The fabric of the tents overhead flaps gently in the wind, casting playful shadows on the cobbled street. You've got to admit it's not a bad place for a stroll, until the occasional sneaky goat decides to test your patience by nibbling curiously at the hem of your robe. You move past a stall, its surface choked with gleaming gemstones and ornate jewelry. Each piece seems to have its own story, embedded in the intricate patterns wrought by skillful hands. A bright amulet catches your eye, though its beauty is slightly marred by what looks suspiciously like an ancient spell carved delicately into its back. You can't read it. Perhaps it's just as well. I'd like to think it's a benevolent incantation, but why tempt fate? A young boy no more than 10 dodges through the crowd with a cheeky grin clutching a small pouch. He catches your eye with a mischievous smile and a wink before you know it. A nearby vendor shakes his head, laughing about his apples having been pilfered again. You shrug, shaking off the encounter as you move deeper into the market's lively maze. Along the street, artisans diligently craft their goods. You pause to watch a potter at the wheel, her hands dancing with a simple grace as clay forms under her touch. Several steps away, a scribe carefully dips his quill, dotting parchment with a language both familiar and yet an echo of what you know. You ponder how many stories have been captured in such a timeless manner. As the humid air takes on the cooler notes of the afternoon, you exhale slowly, feeling your shoulders relax against the rhythm of life unfolding around you. Nearby, an older woman, seated on a low stool, tells tales to a small audience, their eyes wide with wonder. Her voice is rich and melodious, winding through stories of heroes and far-off lands. One tale involves a cunning merchant who tricks his partner with enchanted scales, a reminder that you should always, always check the balance before you make a deal. You nod to yourself, a gentle chuckle escaping as you suspect some things really never change. The sky's blues deepen as sunlight tips towards dusk. You offer a nod to an acquaintance by another merchant's stall, a baker this time beckoning you over with a kindly gesture and the aroma of freshly baked bread. As you bite into the warmth, the crust crackles, the inside soft and airy. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the flavors dance, feeling the chaos and magic of the marketplace melt into a soft golden evening light. Somewhere nearby, a faint melody floats through the air. It's a gentle tune plucked from a stringed instrument, each note a reminder that while gold might have its own customs and downfalls, the true wealth lies in moments of small joys and nighttime songs. You wander towards the sound, stepping carefully through the thinning market, your heart lightened by the sense of connection radiating from this shared world. The light begins to fade, but the warmth of the day lingers, as does the curious sensation that you are part of something larger, yet profoundly simple. Dust settles in tiny swirls across your path, a dance, a story, a whisper of the lives and legends that walked these roads before. You can almost hear them, quiet echoes carried by the breeze through ancient stones and stories untold. They remind you that sometimes in silence you find not just rest, but the space where dreams and memories gently blend. In the warm glow of a late afternoon sun, you find yourself meandering through a bustling marketplace. The air hums with vibrant energy stalls, lined with wares from lands both near and far. The soft clink of metal and the spicy aroma of distant spices dance together, creating an ambience that feels both familiar and elusive, like a memory from a dream. Amongst the woven fabrics dyed in deep indigo and radiant cinnabar gold stands out most prominently. Its sheen isn't just currency here, its role much richer than mere trade. You wander closer to a table covered with small piles of glittering gold dust. A gentle breeze catches a few particles, scattering them like tiny stars around your feet. You resist the whimsical notion that maybe, just maybe, this shimmering stardust could lift you away if only you dared to let it. It's irresistible to touch, so you let your fingers graze the edge of the pile, feeling the cool metallic grains slipping through your hands. You wonder who first thought of using gold dust in ceremonies. Was it a stroke of genius or just someone with very slippery fingers during a deal? A merchant nearby, eyes crinkling in knowing laughter, notices your interest. Ah, but that my friend is not just for buying and selling, he remarks, his voice sing-song and full of stories. It's as if he knows that you, like many, are unaware of gold's role beyond mere trade. Is that so? You reply, arching a curious brow, partly for show, partly in genuine intrigue. He nods, leaning in as if sharing a secret. They sprinkle it in weddings, you see. A dusting of prosperity for the newlyweds as they step into life's dance together. The image of golden rain over a bride and groom forms in your mind, each fleck a tiny wish for happiness. As you continue your stroll, you come across a tapestry, its edges embroidered with threads of gold. The fabric tells a story, one of birth and celebration. Historians still debate whether this tradition began with kings or commoners. But one thing is certain: gold weaves through the tapestry of life's milestones like an unspoken promise of fortune and joy. You wonder if those first parents long ago had any idea, as they tied gold into baby clothes, capturing the hopes for their child in each glittering strand. At the corner of the street, you pause to watch a storyteller entertaining a circle of attentive listeners, all spellbound by tales of ancient times. His voice dips and soars like a bird in flight, and you catch the tale of a famous leader who filled his country's coffers with gold, only to gift it in handfuls at festivals. Apparently, throwing gold dust into the air was supposed to bring good luck. You think with a wry grin that it's a wonder no one attempted to capture it all with a giant sieve. Nearby, a seamstress diligently stitches metallic threads into garments. Her skilled hands sew together stories as much as fabric. Each stitch is precise a reflection of her care and the timeless importance placed upon these adornments. You can almost hear her thoughts as her needle dives and resurfaces hopes for her children, whispers of an easier life, whispered dreams carried forward with every flicker of the thread. Moving along, you see a pair of friends arguing playfully over whether gold dust really does enhance one's charm. One laughs, "Isn't it just too heavy for daily wear anyway?" The other counters, "Yes, if you're a snail, perhaps." You can't help but chuckle softly at their banter, secretly considering for a moment what it would be like to wear such wealth. You turn into a quieter alley, the buzz of the marketplace muted, but still present like a gentle hum. Your steps are slow, reflective, matching the softened rhythm around you. Thoughts of today's encounters linger in your mind, painting a picture as vivid as any tapestry you've seen, with threads of gold running through weddings, births, and fabric alike. The history of gold, you realize, is more than just a story of material wealth. It's a testament to humanity's enduring desire to capture beauty, luck, love, and legacy in tangible form. Gold isn't just a relic of the past. It's woven into the very fabric of human experience, illuminating the highs and lows of life's rich pageantry. As you exhale, allowing the day's impressions to settle you, recognize a comforting truth. Gold continues to glitter, not just in the physical world, but in the shared moments and stories that bring us together. With that thought, you let a small smile dance across your lips, knowing that this golden thread in the tapestry of life will continue to shimmer brightly, guiding you onward through history's endless dreamscape. Women dominate the marketplace stalls with grace and subtlety, their presence interwoven into the tapestry of the bustling market. You find yourself drifting amidst the rhythmic sounds of haggling, and the subtle scent of spices carried on the breeze. It's a place alive with color and energy, set in a time when bartering was both an art and a necessity. You watch captivated as the women negotiate with an eloquence that transcends verbal language. They use gestures more than words. A tilt of the head here, a subtle hand movement there, each motion carrying a weight of meaning known only to the initiated. It's as if they are communicating in a secret code, one developed over countless market days. You can't help but admire their skillful grace, akin to watching a well-rehearsed dance or an elaborate chess game played without pieces. Nearby, a young woman raises an eyebrow at a vendor, and you see the slight nod he gives in return. It appears she's secured a deal merely with a look, a neat trick worthy of any 21st century negotiation tactic class. Wouldn't need a PowerPoint for that. You smile, imagining how your boss might react if you adopted this technique during the next video meeting. Amid this quiet symphony of gestures, you become acutely aware of the unique challenges faced by these women. They must bargain without offending, negotiate without diminishing the dignity of those across from them. It's a dance as much about relationships and reputation as it is about the goods themselves. The art of bartering here isn't merely economical. It's social currency in its own right. Historians still debate whether this coded language was born out of sheer necessity or merely evolved as a natural extension of delicate social hierarchies. You ponder this as your foot scuffs against the uneven cobblestones, each stone worn smooth by years of bustling market feet. It's funny, every stone has its place, much like everyone in this market, moving to the rhythm of unseen yet clearly perceived boundaries. One cannot overlook the physical setting either. The stalls are covered with fading awnings that flutter gently in the breeze, casting whimsical shadows that dance across colorful arrays of fabrics and trinkets. The air is thick with the scent of fresh bread mingling with that of ripe fruits and spices, creating an olfactory mosaic that is almost palpable. There's a strange comfort in observing this well-practiced ritual, knowing it's both timeless and transient. One of the elders, her weathered hands beautifully illustrating tales of many past market days, catches your eye. Her smile, a serene curve on her lips, speaks volumes. You wonder if beneath that calm facade lies a playful trickster who might have once raised a single eyebrow in victorious negotiation, much like the woman earlier. It's these little wonders. You dwell upon the hidden lives that weave through each market day, making the ordinary extraordinary. As you walk through the vibrant chaos, you can't help but absorb the energy around you, feeling oddly connected to this slice of history before gently returning to the present. The conversation around the fire is quiet. You sit cross-legged on the soft, worn rug that covers the hard dirt floor. The flickering flames cast shadows that dance on the stone walls, and you can almost hear the soft sighs of history weaving itself into the present. Here in this place, secrets are kept and stories breathed into the warm night air, tales of treasure, of wealth, beyond imagining, hidden away from prying eyes. In this verdant landscape, golden treasures are more myth than reality. They're whispered about in hushed tones among those who dare to speak of them. You sense the weight of these untold riches around you, hidden caches of yellow metal and sacred pieces that shimmer just outside the edge of your consciousness. Once you mention them, you understand you might invite not only envy, but also spirits a possibility not to be taken lightly. The ancient kingdoms of this place were masters at guarding their secrets. Historians still debate whether the Thracians, those fierce and mysterious tribes, buried their treasures to elude the grasp of Roman conquest, or as offerings to the divine. You walk through the dense forest, sensing old spirits in the rustle of leaves. The Thracian gold was crafted with touches so fine, it seems almost beyond earthly skill, each piece a testament to the mysterious civilization that produced it. You hear a soft snort, probably the wind, you tell yourself, and step over a fallen branch, reminding yourself to wear more practical shoes next time. These trails are as old as the tales themselves, and you can almost hear the ancient feet that trod these paths long before you. And there you are, humbled and fascinated, blending the moments of then with now. Plodding through the pastures and splashing through shallow streams, you envision the gleam of carefully hoarded gold buried deep beneath mounds or tucked behind imposing cliff faces. These are not just treasures, but tales captured in metal, each piece like a page of a long-forgotten book. As you crest a hill, you find yourself at the remains of an ancient watchtower. You're not the only one keeping secrets, you muse, spotting a tuft of grass poking out from between two stones. The view stretches far ahead into a valley etched with whispers of history. The land is almost too tranquil under the silver moon, as though holding its breath. In the crisp night air, you hear a faint sound. It resembles laughter, or perhaps the hoot of a distant owl. You chuckle softly to yourself, feeling just brave enough to keep moving. Somehow it feels as though the very air anticipates your reaction. You imagine the stones laughing too, encouraging your examination of these shared secret legends, while playfully reminding you not to trip again. Finding footsteps in your path, you follow the track deeper into history, past the ghostly remains of old temples, imagined whispers swirling in the breeze around stone columns that rise majestically toward the stars. You wonder if they ever believed in these eternal promises, if they trusted time to guard their secrets more fervently than any vault. You pause, exhaling slowly, and savor the warming sensation of these precious mysteries. In some distant future, will your own paths become tales, glossed with the gold of memory and secrets shared only by a lucky few? You watch your shadow grow longer, flickering in concert with the starlit canopy above, casting an ephemeral tapestry of dreams. The trees grow denser, guiding you with an inevitability that suggests they too hold secrets of their own. Here's a spot where you can feel the thickness of history pressing in a quiet, shared moment waiting. You sense that the trees once watched others walk through here with clinking bags and hurried steps, leaving small offerings of wealth among roots and stones for others to discover or never to be seen again. And you wonder, if you could find one secret tonight, how many more would lie undiscovered beneath your feet? In a fit of whimsy, you imagine thousands of tiny gold coins breathing softly in their resting places, whispering ancient dreams in your ear. It's enough to make anyone weary in the best way. Now, as the night's chill deepens, you pull your cloak closer, attempting to ward off the cool fingers of air that reach out with curious tugs. The wind softens its whispering, allowing a gentle peace to settle. Perhaps time and gold are not the only treasures guarded here. The night feels alive, breathing with you as you rest, cocooning you in the warmth of shared stories. You offer yourself a small, wistful smile, feeling linked to the hum of history, the dance of secrets, and the whisper of spirits as you tread softly back. Home calls in the softened dark. As you retrace your steps under the canopy of the stars, tonight's splendid mysteries will surely lull you into peaceful slumber. Whether the tales are true, whether the gold remains, you've chosen to walk with the spirits and the land. That, perhaps, is the truest treasure of all. You find yourself once more in the golden heat of ancient West Africa. The air shimmers like a mirage, a whispered promise of the past that wraps around you in a soft embrace. Ghana, once a mighty empire, rests now in the cradle of history's arms. Its great halls echo merely with the whispers of traders who once flourished there. Yet despite its decline, you can sense that all is not lost. The techniques and innovations it nurtured glide through time, finding new life like seeds carried on the wind. You tread gently across a dusty path, leading between what remains of stone structures, their grandeur faded, yet their significance glowing, still beneath the surface like embers hiding under ash. Ahead, you spot a group of people gathered under the soothing shade of a grand baobab tree, their attention fixed on something meaningful and shared. You approach, curiosity piqued, and notice them carefully weighing reddish chunks of gold dust. The method is meticulous, almost ceremonial in nature, with small brass weights laid out like tiny sentinels guarding the truth. It's a practice you recognize, a relic of Ghana's golden days, now an eternal thread in the fabric of history. As whispers of trade and wealth ripple through the group, a friendly young man notices your wide-eyed interest. Weighing the heart of the earth, he says with a glint in his eyes, "It's a wisdom passed down from when our ancestors danced with kings." The scales tip and balance with a precision that seems timeless. You wonder how such a simple tool could outlast empires like some resilient golden ring passed from one finger to the next. It suddenly strikes you this ingenuity outlived the stone walls of Ghana's fortresses. Laughing softly, the young man adds, "Ever imagine that sometimes hearts are weighed lighter than gold?" He gives the scale an exaggerated, thoughtful glance. You chuckle lightly, feeling the dusty warmth of the ground through your sandals. The weights and scales remain a language all their own, one that future kingdoms speak fluently as empires rise from the silent dust of the past. The Mali Empire, built on the echoes of Ghana, adopts this method, valuing it as one might cherish an old book of secrets. Scholars often debate the details, of course. Did Mali refine the practice further, or did they cherish it just as it was? Truth, it seems, holds as many facets as a gem. You let your mind wander, imagining how the Songhai Empire too would clink these same scales, measuring not just gold, but also their legacy. It's almost as if these weights carry a story, a melody of continuity that defies decay and decline. The sun begins to dip below the horizon, washing the landscape in a gentle amber glow. You ponder about the fragile nature of kingdoms and how their wisdom whispers on, carried by the wind, by water, even through the lives of those cradling these metal weights. You guess that perhaps sometimes the weight of knowledge is more enduring than the kingdom itself. As you stroll away, perhaps a tad nostalgic, you spot children playing in the distance, their laughter mingling with the fading light. It's a comforting thought. Everything changes, yet something always remains the same. The torch passes through time, lighting the path of those who follow. You pause, feeling a sense of serenity wash over you, as if you've tucked a small piece of knowledge under your arm for safekeeping, ready to journey back into the dreamscape whenever you wish to return. You've been transported to a place where the past hums quietly beneath the surface, where the air is thick with rippling overtones of history. This is a village untouched by time. The world around you is coated in a fine, pervasive dust that seems to possess a life of its own, telling ancient secrets through its whispers. This dust has long been held in high esteem by the village's inhabitants. It's seen as tangible, almost sacred, giving weight to transactions marking the passage of time on the weathered faces of the elders, and coating the dry earth where you stand. This dust is a kind of currency, an unspoken language understood by everyone in the village. Unlike the coins that have recently begun to circulate among the traders, shiny and new, yet curiously soulless, the dust holds a certain gravitas. You feel it between your fingers, not just dirt, but a medium through which stories pass from hand to hand. Historians often ponder the origins of such beliefs among these villagers. Some suggest it was due to their ancient connection to the land, symbolizing abundance and prosperity in a palpable way. Others believe it stemmed from practical concerns. After all, there's not much chance of a thief making away with your wealth if it's embedded in the very earth itself. Amid this world, you watch life unfold. One by one, the villagers gather around the communal well at the village center. The worn stones glisten slightly under the rising sun, the kind of gleam that might make you wonder how many generations have leaned against them, how many stories have been swapped bucket in hand. There's a lightness in the air today, the kind that feels like anticipation, and you overhear snippets of conversation drifting by. Traders from the coastal cities have arrived, their hands jingling with the sound of foreign currency. It's a bit pretentious, you think, the way they brandish coins as if to flaunt their supposedly superior culture. Yet despite this new form of wealth, the villagers treat them with polite bemusement eyes, subtly darting towards the traders' glistening sacks, yet quickly returning to the comforting familiarity of their own dusty palms. An elder with lines etched deeply into his skin like the worn pages of an ancient manuscript approaches you. His voice is as gentle as the breeze that carries the dust. Strange, isn't it? He muses, a faint smile playing at his lips. How these shiny things never quite compare. You nod, understanding the sentiment that ties them to their dusty treasure. As you watch a child play nearby, sculpting mounds of dust into imagined castles and beasts, you realize how tactile the dust feels against your skin, how it connects to something deeper, a grasp on reality. One can never underestimate the need for something real, something you can hold that reminds you of both the fragility and the persistence of life. You see it now, this unspoken reverence for what is tangible, the way it grounds the soul more profoundly than any weighty purse of coins ever could. Local legends even talk of the dusty paths as having mystical properties. It's said that when tread upon with intent, they guide the wanderer to truths hidden just out of reach, much like the grains of sand slipping through fingers, elusive yet inevitably there to be discovered anew. And here you are, your shoes stirring the dust with every step, wondering if legends hold the kernel of truth that time embellishes into myth. You catch sight of a trader attempting to haggle with a villager, his insistence on the value of his coins almost comical. The villager listens politely, nods, but eventually shrugs, coinage yielding little sway. It's hard not to chuckle softly at the futile exchange. Persuasion against custom holds as much water as a sieve. Still, the sound of those coins, metallic notes clinking together, finds a way into the crevices of conversations, introducing a note of discord into an otherwise harmonious setting. You compare it to a misplaced line in a beloved song, standing out starkly in its wrongness, yet becoming part of the village's rhythm nonetheless. The traders will stay for a few days, insistently trying to bridge their worlds of metal and dust, each side inevitably learning from the other in subtle exchanges. Maybe they'll leave behind a few coins that end up in some child's secret hoard, shiny relics from a visit long remembered. As night falls, the village slips into a quiet revelry under the blanket of stars. You lean back, feeling the cool earth beneath you, the dust settling once more into the alleys and corners, resuming its watch over the timeless place. Tonight the whispers are of tomorrow's trades of dreams, sketched out in the grains of dust, and of the slightest possibility that some things might change. But for now, dreams are what matter most. A little faith that tomorrow too will hold the same peaceful simplicity. You exhale slowly, eyelids heavy, the night around you a cradle of gentle sounds. The villagers retire slowly, content in their dusk-laden world, knowing that whatever the future brings, the dust will always whisper its truths, steady, faithful, and forever grounding. The air carries a gentle warmth as you stand outside a bustling marketplace in ancient Ghana, your toes sinking into the soft earth. Rich, earthy scents of spices and fresh produce mingle in the air, while traders haggle animatedly over their wares. In front of you, catching your eye amidst all this vibrancy, is a woven mat displaying an array of intricate brass weights and a polished wooden scale. Encased in whispers of history, these scales measure not just the gold dust exchanged here, but things less tangible, how justice is weighed against mercy or wisdom, against folly. You crouch down for a closer look, lacing your fingers behind your head. Because really, who doesn't feel philosophical? Squatting in a marketplace, Can you imagine maintaining balance with this? A voice asks softly behind you. You turn to see an older trader whose face is etched with lines like stories told over and over. Balance is as slippery as a flounder, you muse, recalling your earlier attempts to keep upright in the muddy courtyard after last night's unexpected downpour. The trader chuckles, nodding sagely. Ah, but that's the challenge, isn't it? To hold justice steady while everything teeters around you. You nod thoughtfully while picking up one of the intricately cast weights, engraved ornately with symbols you can't quite decipher, perhaps an ancient language where every curve and loop conjured stories of its own. Historians still debate whether these weights represented local deities or were merely aesthetic prompts for ponderous contemplation. You smile lightly at the thought that despite centuries, people still love a good argument. But seriously, did they actually use this for justice, you ask, eyebrows raised skeptically. Not in the direct sense, admits the trader, his eyes twinkling with humor. It's symbolic, like the stuff you read in stories. It reminds you not to let your heart tip one way too far. As you let the weight drop gently back into place, your mind drifts further. You picture the image of the scales emblazoned on modern Ghana's coat of arms, proud and resolute, amid other symbols of national pride, standing silently behind Ghana's own history of balance, justice, and the wisdom to maintain both. A breeze rustles past, scattering leaves at your feet, and you shift your gaze to the nearby acacia trees, where children hang like bright ornaments, laughing and swinging in forms almost aerial. Two of them scamper over, curiosity in their eyes. "Mister, what are those?" for one of them questions, pointing at the scales. You respond with your best adult tone. "Well, these remind us that fairness and understanding keep us steady. You know, like the way your mom tries to keep peace when you and your siblings fight over who got the bigger slice of mango." "Is that why they're so heavy?" the other child asks, wide-eyed. You chuckle softly, ruffling their hair, and consider how wisdom is sometimes a bulky carry-on in life's journey. Pondering the heft of intangible values, you move further into the marketplace, where stalls burst with intricate textiles in a rainbow of colors, basket weavings that showcase centuries-old craftsmanship, and the rich aroma of freshly baked goods that makes your stomach rumble eagerly. Among the ding-ding-dong of transactions, you overhear one vendor explaining, "We may not always agree, but while the scales tip back and forth, we learn how to listen. That's where the wisdom lies." You wander to a quieter spot beneath the shade of a towering baobab tree, its bark gnarled like the hands of an all-knowing elder. Here, you let the day's soft chatter wash over you like an old tune, timeless, comforting, and filled with lessons learned and relearned. As evening wraps the village in its velvet touch, you gather with others around a cozy fire where words turn to stories, myths of golden empires, and naturally, the legendary fables of Anansi, the mischievous spider. You watch as sparks dance upward, merging with the star-laden sky, and ponder the ever-present balance between human foible and triumph. Your eyelids grow heavy under the spell of the gentle ancient cadence, and amid dry humor woven into the tales you smile at. How balance isn't always about equality. Sometimes it's simply about being human, embracing the chaos, and finding laughter where you can. Letting out a long sigh, your thoughts circle back to that symbolic scale. Like life, you muse, it's less about perfection and more about the courage to sway gently with every gust. You wrap yourself in a soft blanket of dusk-drawn shadows, welcoming sleep's soothing embrace with the echoes of kindness, justice, and the wisdom wrapped in their intertwined dance ever present, weighing gently on your heart throughout history's tale. And as the embers of the fire fade into warm glows, you drift seamlessly into rest, where dreams carry onward in perfect balance of night and the promise of a new day. The ancient paths are rich with soft golden dust beneath your feet, the kind that has seen countless footsteps of traders from long ago. As you walk, a gentle breeze swirls the fine grains, as though whispering secrets from the past. The sun sets low, casting an amber hue over the land, and the air is thick with the stories of ancient marketplaces, vibrant and bustling. Despite the passage of time, you can almost hear the melodic bartering calls, the echo of merchants' voices weaving tales of far-off lands and exotic wares. Today, however, you find yourself amid a tranquil serenity, disrupted only by the soft rustling of leaves. You marvel at the cleverness of those market days, how knowledge and goods exchanged hands in a vibrant dance of cultural exchange. You stop by a weathered stone wall leaning in to imagine the scene centuries ago. Crates overflowing with spices so aromatic they left a trail of scent that clung to your clothes. And what of the goldsmith still debated among historians? Was it his unusual craftsmanship or his uncanny knack for striking deals under the sun's glare that truly defined his success? A local legend insists he could coax allure from ordinary metals, with observers swearing his creations shone even brighter under the pale moonlight. Magic dust, they called it. You chuckle at this thought, noting how some tales seem to hold a sprinkle of truth, just enough to baffle the skeptics. Beneath this sky, you find yourself in a small grove of olive trees, their silvery leaves shimmering under the fading light. Here trust and balance took root deeper than the olive trunks nurtured by generations. You reach up to pluck a small branch, observing how effortlessly it yields to your gentle tug. In these simple acts, stories of trade agreements, sealed with a nod, or the gentle clasp of another's hand, come to life, carrying lessons of trust, taught without a spoken word. The markets have changed, you muse, sensing a profound respect for those who measured wealth in lands and honored packs with quiet assurance. Treasures didn't always clink and clatter. Often the true riches rested quietly in character and knowledge that rebels against the tangibility of time. Yet here you are, still unearthing remnants of the past like an archaeologist of dreams. You continue your leisurely walk feeling comforted that even though the ancient markets have disappeared, their fundamental values echo through time. They left behind more than just tales. They imprinted a way of life into the ground, silent yet persistent. As you move onward, the path leads past a forgotten well. Water, once prized above gemstones, still a lifeline for those who settled nearby, a resource carefully shared and meticulously maintained. You run your fingers over the cracked stone perimeter, imagining the bonds forged between neighbors as cups were filled and stories exchanged in the hush of dawn. Is it surprising, you think, how the simplest things often hold the greatest value? Nearby, a family of doves perches quietly, unaware or perhaps amused by your wandering thoughts. You grin at their unruffled demeanor, as if they've figured out the secrets you're only beginning to grasp. Just then, a whisper of movement catches your attention. A lone traveler walking the path ahead. His gait is steady, a silhouette against the now indigo sky. Another seeker, you speculate. As he approaches, your gazes meet, and a silent acknowledgement passes between you. Evening? He nods with a smile, pausing beside a stone marker. Funny how these roads draw us back, isn't it? They do, you reply, noting the shared camaraderie of those who wander through time's tapestry. Do you ever think they had it all figured out? You ask, gesturing toward the invisible market of history's past. Oh, they certainly had something going for them. He chuckles lightly. Master storytellers they were, for better or worse. His eyes twinkle with nostalgia. Echoes in the dust, he adds, and you sense the comfort in that thought. The light softens, and you find yourself sitting alongside him, imaginations wandering far beyond the present, stories woven from grains of ancient dust, shared in quiet moments, continue to weave their magic. As the world hushes, you dream of bygone days, thankful for the timeless lessons that sleep beneath your resting heart. As your lids grow heavier, your breathing matches the rhythm of the cricket's lullaby, a gentle serenade. With a final gaze towards the starry heavens, where dreams ascend, you let the whispers of history envelop you, guiding you gently into the embrace of night.